2 hours of the band you love to hate, Throbbing Gristle. My guest host tonight, especially for tonight's program, is none other than Alex Douglas, whom some of you may know as the driving force and publisher behind Clem, the contact list of electronic music. So what are we going to do? We're going to show the people what the band Throbbing Gristle, the band you love to hate, is all about.
I guess we're going to show them why they may end up loving the band they love to hate.
Or why is the world as bad as it seems?
Exactly. We're going to give you some information, a lot of music, and tell you a lot about the band.
All right, what have you got lined up for us? We'll get into it, and we have a lot of written material to read from and a lot of recorded material, no doubt, specifically some tapes that are not available that easily in Vancouver that you have to write away for to the Throbbing Gristle's record company, which is Industrial
Records. I picked these up about 2 years ago when I first became aware of Throbbing Gristle, when they were a little bit more readily available. But they're tapes of live concerts. Throbbing Gristle did about 20 tapes of live concerts. And you can still sometimes get them through Rough Trade down in the States, etc. But they're pretty well out of stock now.
All right. Anyway, you have you're starting chronologically, I understand. You have it.
Yeah. I thought we'd start with an interview the Melody Maker did with Genesis P. Orgy in 1976. It's dated November 20th, and it was done about a month after Throbbing Gristle had sort of become aware in the world. They first came into the public view when they hit the front pages of the British newspapers after they did a performance at the Contemporary Institute of Contemporary Arts. And the show was called Prostitution, and some people said it was obscene, some people said it was very arty. But as I say, it hit the front pages. It was talked about in the parliaments and etc. So I guess Melody Maker thought they better interview this guy. And it seems that he's been around for quite a while. He started in 1969 with such bands as Early Remember, The Great Surfers, and The Fabulous Mutations. I'm sure everybody's heard about those bands.
Of course.
And I'd just like to read a few articles from this, and maybe give you an idea of what you're up against here. This is from the article here. First the face. Imagine a depraved David Essex, pimpled and with deep, dark rings around his eyes. Since Genesis doesn't drink or smoke cigarettes, it's interesting to speculate where he got these black circles. On his head, a tam o' shanter. On his leg, dark blue jeans stained with fake blood that turns brown with age. Black leather jackets, sweaters, and oh yes, the bag. A shoulder bag, converted from its original innocent glory to something hideous. A sight to make strong women faint and send strong men into horror-stricken fits. The outside of the bag has been transformed by Genesis into a huge, massive, and large rubbery model of a unique, intimate portion of the female anatomy. So as you can see, he's not your average human being. But to show that what Genesis is about, I'll read the last paragraph. This is after the interview. The interviewer's done this interview in a pub, and he's now gone outside with Genesis, and Genesis is walking away. As Genesis walked along Charing Cross Road, a businessman, complete with bowler and briefcase, saw his bag and in a state of deep shock walked straight into a lamppost. Genesis saw it, but pretended nothing happened. Outrage is effective, after all, only if you pretend you're not being outrageous.
Okay, that gives us but a small idea of what we're up against for the next 2 hours. So let's get into some music. We're starting with their first single, is that right?
It's the first single that they put out, and as I say, this is back about 1978. This came out.
It's called United.
United.
Here goes on Alien Soundtracks.
It's the lie, it's the same, it's the sign, it's the game, it's the why, it's the where and the when, and we're united. United. You and I. Four faces blending, 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 never ending. Our faces ending, shades of evening. You and I united, united. Ocean between us, sky between us, land between us, fire between us. We're united, united.
Can't stop it.
United, united. You are my night, night, my evening. It's very plain to say, strange sister. You live there, you want to be there. You have to see there, you have to be there. United, united. You and me, la la la, you and I. Make ourselves forever together, forever and ever. United, united. Love is the law, love is the law, love is the law, love is the law. United, united, united. You and I, you and I. United. Time will feel, time will clear, time will feel. We are everywhere. There is no
are tuned to 102.7 FM, Vancouver Cooperative Radio. The show is called Alien Soundtracks, and my special guest host tonight is Alex Douglas, and we're working our way through the special presentations of 2 hours of Throbbing Gristle. And we just heard United, and we didn't announce the last part of the music we heard was called Distant Dreams.
Yeah, those were 2 singles, and I thought I'd play those first. That's the nicer side of Throbbing Gristle, and it sort of proves that they can play music and can create some very nice melodies. And our next one we're going to be going to is one of their earlier tapes. It was recorded at the Industrial Training College in Wakefield in July 1st, 1978, and I think it shows some of their earlier stuff. It's a bit harsher, and it flows back and forth. It's very harsh, and it flows into a very nice melody. And it kind of wakes you up.
All right, let's listen in. It's called Cabaret Voltaire.
Cabaret Voltaire.
On Alien Soundtracks.
No.
That is certainly different from the first 2 cuts that we've heard, and that brings me to something I've heard a lot. You mentioned something, Throbbing Gristle, the band you love to hate. And certainly there are two sides to this band. Definitely a lot of people said they don't like them because they're too harsh, they're too industrial, so to speak, and kind of like the more melodic kind of stuff. And I personally thought at the beginning that they were very fascist, and had to change my mind when it soon became apparent that they were only confronting you with a problem and wanted you to see it and talk about it. And I think a lot of people have misunderstood that during the tenure of Throbbing Gristle. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, a lot of people have misunderstood that. And yes, early in their stuff, that was tape number 14. So up until that time, they had done quite a few concerts, and a few of them had erupted into a little bit of violence and stuff. And it wasn't so much the band; it was just maybe the people in the audience. But they did get labeled with some awfully, bad ideas and stuff like that, and some bad press reports and things.
So we're basically talking the audience misunderstood for a different reason that I misunderstood for, and decided to think that the band was on their side and do some awful fascist type things.
Exactly. And it sort of came to a head about with the accumulation of the third or their second album, which was called DOA, Third and Final Report. And I've got a magazine here put out in Britain. It's purely all on Throbbing Gristle, and I'd like to read something about it. There's a line in the song Weeping on the new TG album that goes something like this. The universe is coming from my mouth, you don't see me swallowing my tablets. Racked by a personal emotional problem, depressed by Valium, which crazily enough is supposed to cure depression, Generous P. Orridge couldn't even remember the end of the TG's last gig. He went home wanting to sleep, didn't care what happened to him, and swallowed everything in sight. He nearly died. When I saw him after the incident, he went into what one might construe as a morbid rap, explaining how he'd been doing all this shit for 10 years. No one appreciated him. Now he's tired of the image of Generous P. Orgy as a monster and would like to jack it all in. Even yet, though the new TG is subtitled Third and Final Report, this doesn't necessarily mean it's the last Throbbing Gristle record. It looks like a real record, color sleeve and all. So you can see that he was tired of his image and he wanted to change it. So I'd like you to really listen to the words of Weeping, because I think it has a lot to say.
Here it is, Weeping from the third and annual report by Throbbing Gristle on Alien Soundtracks.
I want to find you something which is certain. I found nothing lying, weeping, bleeding. You never saw me weeping on the floor. It's impossible to advise anybody. Be courageous, take it easy, just show trust. Be reasonable, be all first weeping. You didn't see me weeping on the floor. You didn't see me weeping on the floor. My arm is torn open like a wound. My universe is coming from my mouth. I spent a year or two listening to you, discrediting myself for you. You didn't see me on the floor weeping. You didn't see me lying by the door. You didn't see me swallowing my tablets. You can't look inside my eyes no more. Weeping, weeping, weeping. If the created cast a cloud for space to be in. We created word to waste our time. We created love, so one can be the victim. We all need a result. We all need love. Don't know what to do with it. What's the sense of the situation? We can't fight. It's alright when you don't want to fight, but when one of them doesn't want to fight, it's the end of love. Just looking at plastic rebirth. Basically nothing like this. Crazy. On the floor. I don't know what's going on. Except I can't even see stages. It's the worst.
Five knuckles shuffle. Autistic disco. Patella pole. I said it, I'm fed up. 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 I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I had a body. I had a body. I had a body, la body, la body, la body, la body. I said, what a fucker. I said, what a fucker. I said, what a fucker, a fucker, a fucker, a fucker, a fucker. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up. I said it, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I had a body. I had a body. I had a body. I said, what a fuck. I said, I'm fed up. I said, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I had a baby. I had a baby. I had a baby. I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I went in the room. I won't lie.
We create cars to fight for space to be in. We create work to waste our time. We create love so one can be the victim. We all need as a result. We all need love, but don't know what to do with it. What's the sense of a situation we can't fight? It's all right when you both want to fight, but when one of them doesn't want to fight, it's the end of love. You over there, you're the one I am. I am that lazy boy. All over, take some more. I need some more sleep. Just an animal, a twisted up animal. I want to be left alone. I want that you not assess me, not possess me, not attack me, not to distract me. I even get fed up.
Five Knuckle Shuffle, Throbbing Gristle and Alien soundtrack. Wow.
As I say, I think he was a little annoyed at the way the people, the press, were to a certain extent attacking him, and weeping is sort of his way of crying out to them, and Five Knuckle Shuffle is his way of saying, hey guy, I'm fed up with this. I don't
I'm mad
want
as
it
hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. If you are wondering what you are tuned to and the weird and wonderful sounds coming out of your speakers you are tuned to Vancouver Cooperative Radio at 102.7 FM or 104.9 on cable. The show is called Alien Soundtracks. My name is Peter Moser, and my special guest host tonight is Alex Douglas from Clem, the contact list of electronic music. And he's a special fan of Throbbing Gristle, and we've got a special 2 hours of Throbbing Gristle to work our way through here tonight. And Alien Soundtracks is proud to present Alex Douglas. You've been one of our regular guests, had always something to say about what's new in electronic music. And we're developing some ideas that I think some of our listeners might be interested in. Everybody has an association, everybody has a club and a meeting to exchange ideas. If any of you out there have an idea to get together once every 3 months, once every month or whatever, to exchange ideas about records. We will later on in the program talk about the availability of the music you're hearing tonight. And in fact, as Alien Soundtrack's tenor of the last 4 years, we do play stuff that isn't necessarily available immediately by walking into the nearest record store. You're going to have to do a little searching and letter writing and phone calling to get it. But it's not all that hard once you do have the contacts, and that's where you come in with your contact list of electronic music. It's a very nice work, and you're a driving force behind it, and you give us a lot of addresses and contacts. And usually we also, try and give you as much variety as possible by playing anything from Throbbing Gristle to Tangerine Dream, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's something for everybody in Alien Soundtracks, but don't expect anything commercial. That's all we can tell you. It's our alternative way of saying, look, it's out there, and it's not just the stuff that you regularly get to hear. But enough of that. We're working our way through 2 hours of Throbbing Gristle. What's up next, Alex?
Next is 20 Jazz Funk Greats, which is a rather interesting album.
I love the title.
Exactly. You can just imagine some person leafing through their record store and coming across this album with 4 people on the front of it. Across the top, nicely written, Throbbing Gristle presents you 20 Jazz Funk Greats. It's got that stereo symbol up in the side.
Like the old records used to be in the 60s, the mono records.
Yeah,
right?
just like that. You sort of say, this looks like an old, interesting album. I should pick this up and take this home. So you expect to hear 20 hits of good old jazz collectibles. And, well, let's say you're kind of surprised.
The band itself doesn't look its regular self.
Well, exactly. I'd like to read from, again, this British magazine here, Na Van Vest, which is, I guess, the Throbbing Gristle Appreciation Society magazine. But it's about the cover. And the guy was talking to Genesis about the cover. Upon asking Genesis about the sleeve picture of 20 Jazz Funk Greats, I discovered that there wasn't trying to change their image, but mix the two together. You see, they were standing on a nice flowery area of beautiful beachhead, dressed like local beatniks, with a big flashy car to take them home. Well, it wasn't like that, because the point of beachhead was where they were standing is a famous suicide spot, and also the new Range Rover was on hire for the weekend for £90. Because a few weeks beforehand, Captain Mark Phillips decided to sponsor Range Rover, so Gristle thought, why can't they? Genesis also told me he was wearing his Frank Sinatra outfit, especially for the day, and what a day that must have been. Gristle works hard for everything they do, but still people find fault with their works, which only goes to prove that there's never a day and there's never a way of convincing people.
I don't know why. Here's 20 Jazz Funk Greats on Alien Soundtracks.
Never never a way. There's never a way to convince people. There's one way though. There's one way though. That you'll never convince people. That you'll never convince people. And that's when you try. And that's when you try to be someone. To be someone who's not selling. Who's not selling. Who's trying to compare. Who's trying to compare. Who's trying to tell you. Who's trying to tell you what you ought to be. Convinced of. But there's several ways. But there's several ways. Several days. You think you're people. And you are the people. And you are the people.
The Throbbing Gristle operation has always veered outwards towards a perimeter, sternly outside and away from the mainstream of rock and roll, away from the glamour, away from the rituals. TG has nothing to do with rock and roll. Some would say it has nothing to do with music. I'd say TG are significant because they remind me of the essential valuelessness of much of today's modern pop music. Most of Throbbing Gristle's followers have been discontent with the mainstream rock and roll, and therefore have disowned it, although there's nothing to stop you from liking TG and ABBA too. Once everybody's through taking sides, the value of TG might become more apparent. They're not half as bleak as they're painted. TG certainly are not here to change anyone's world, but they might brighten parts of it for those who want to listen. Heathen Earth is a live 50-minute performance recorded before numerous invited guests in their Martello Street studio. It's therefore possibly the most representative Throbbing Gristle album to date, being something like a flowing collage of moods. Can the world be as sad as it seems is a question posed by both the sleeve and the lyrics of their slightly reorganized 6660s, which occurs early on in the first side. It's a question that hangs ominously over the entire album, whether or not it's intended that way. Mostly it's trademark Throbbing Gristle. Guitars, horns, synthesizers, vocals, and tapes caught up in a rotating, reverberating mesh of liquid sound. No tracks, just an ongoing 50 minutes, like or leave. You don't analyze TG's music. You either listen to it or you don't. I think it's good to have around. I only listen to it sporadically. It's not here to smash barriers, to be purposely avant-garde. It's not here to annoy or confuse or rejuvenate people. It's here to exist and subsist, and that's what's important. TG are symbolic rather than effective. You could almost disregard their records, but they are that little light in the dark, that small proof that independent commitment, the domestic approach, can be made to pay. Most people in the journalistic vicinity either hate them or remain very wary, but never mind. Heathen Earth shouldn't be pressed upon you, neither should it be withheld. Find out, perhaps.
vanity scene. But it's the old man's smile. Ages in the valley, being beautiful. Flying in the airline. Captain Scott, welcome to your board. Flight 23. The old man smiled. The arm bent. Fading like moving snow. This is the world now. Take a bit of a way turn. Look at the blind man sitting in a row of white stick, tapping at the keys of the string. And they try to eat us. They try to eat us. Sitting in the coffee and Tangier, the old man smiled, solving the captain's class about the ferry to Spain. And on the 23rd, after 22 years, waves swallow him up. Cold, cold snow. And the world is sadly seen. Will you die for me? Standing here in the desert, do you love me? With my knife against your throat, it could only be me. You will only do this for me. Now the old man's child, just the same way as before. Never know or anything, making me feel neat and tidy. That's the way you were then, with a windfire.
Heathen Earth by Throbbing Gristle on Alien Soundtracks, Vancouver Cooperative Radio, 102.7 FM. My name is Peter Moser, and my guest host tonight is Alex Douglas. And as you have heard, if you've tuned in to us since the hour of 7 o'clock, tonight is Throbbing Gristle Night in Vancouver. Alien Soundtracks is proud to present Throbbing Gristle. There's not that much more happening. Alex does have some information about a compilation album a little later on in the program, and also an album that was released in Germany called Funeral in Berlin. However, We have a couple of public announcements to make. Seems there is a punk band down from Kelowna here in Vancouver tonight. It's playing at a Smiling Buddha. They were here earlier talking to someone at Co-op Radio, and we're hoping to get an interview. However, we could not accommodate them tonight because of our special Throbbing Gristle program. We're sorry to do that because we have never been known to turn down anyone that would fit into Alien Soundtracks and had something relevant to say. But they do have an EP out, or a 45, a 5-song 45. It's called Sterling Death, and the gentlemen we're talking about are called the Gentlemen of Horror. And they're at the Smiling Buddha tonight, probably right about this time. So if you want to check them out, they're from Kelowna, Gentlemen of Horror at the Smiling Buddha. Also, Alien Soundtracks next month is again going for a change of pace. We've got a lot of new electronic music coming in from Europe and elsewhere. New Tangerine Dream, Peter Baumann, Henri Scoffdorp from France, and a host of stacks of records we're going to have to play, and as usual, we probably won't get to play them all. Oh yeah, Clara Mondschein and Klaus Kruger, two new innovative communication releases, which are on Klaus Kruger's label. Klaus Kruger was with Tangerine Dream for a while, and also played drums on a couple of records by Iggy Pop, which I was quite surprised. I'm Peter Moser. The show is called Alien Soundtracks, and my guest tonight is Alex Douglas. We're working our way through Throbbing Gristle, Genesis P. Orridge, and Cozy Fanny Tootie, Chris Carter. And incidentally, Throbbing Gristle is not just a cult, so to say. It even found its way, the album we played, the 20 Jazz Funk Greats, found its way into the review column of the Vancouver Sun a few months ago. A review was written by Fiona McQuarrie, and she says that the 20 Jazz Funk Greats is highly innovative electronic music. The 4-member band, with some names as imaginative as the music, for example, Genesis P. Orridge and Cozy Fanny Tootie, makes sparse rhythmic music, simple but full of surprises. Try the quasi-African beat on What a Day, or the swirling chords of Exotica, which is what we heard. And check out Throbbing Gristle's 2 previous albums, and of course, there are a lot more than 2 previous albums. But here's Alex to tell us what is coming up next on our special 2 hours of Throbbing Gristle on Alien Soundtracks. Alex?
Okay, we've got a lot more music to play. Maybe now we'll maybe mention some of the records which are available, because I'm sure maybe some people that know Throbbing Gristle know that they have deleted their stock, which was produced by Industrial Records, which was their company. But not to worry. To start with, second annual report is readily available as it's put out on the Fetish record label. A new single put out by Adolescent Records, which is Five Knuckle Shuffle, which we heard earlier in the program. And, I'm trying to think of the flip side of that one. Oh, We Hate You Little Girls. Exactly. That's out on single, and I know that most of the import record stores in town have it. And also, I'd recommend going into some of the big record stores too and saying, these records are available, and asking them why they aren't putting them on their shelves. But that's another story. Also, I phoned Rough Trade down in San Francisco today to find out, and they still have the Throbbing Gristle packaged cassettes down there. This is the live versions, but they only have it in the box set, which is over $200. So that's pretty expensive, but it's still there. But I guess the big news is I hear that Fetish Records out of Britain is going to put out a 5-album set in a box set, and the 5th album will be the live version of their San Francisco concert, which was their last concert.
You went to see that, didn't you?
I went to see that, and I must admit it was something special.
Alex phoned us from there. Spent his own dimes to do it, too.
And Peter, I believe you have some information on a record which came out of Berlin.
Yeah, it's called Funeral in Berlin, and it's out on a German label called the Zensor Zickzack Records, which are now finally finding their way into local record stores. As Alex said, all you have to simply do is check out some of the stores who deal with Rough Trade and see what they've got in stock. If you also want to find out more and maybe write to Rough Trade yourself, give us a call at 684-8494. Tell us what you think about the show. If you want to talk to Alex about Throbbing Gristle or the availability of records in particular, you're quite welcome. It's 8494. If you want to write to us, you can write to us at 337 Carroll Street. That's Vancouver Cooperative Radio at 337 Carroll Street. The Throbbing Gristle album in Germany is called Funeral in Berlin, and it says, Das definitiv letzte, oh no, I can't say that. The definite last sound documentary of Throbbing Gristle, only previously unreleased cuts. And it's on Zensor, Zensor 001. And it doesn't say for how much money, but there are some stores in town dealing direct with German independent labels. So if you want to check it out, it's called Funeral in Berlin, Throbbing Gristle, Zensor 001. And give us a call at 684-8494 if you want some more information.
Okay, so I think we'll get back into some music, but first of all, I'd like to read an interview with Genesis Bjorge, and what it's talking about is the idea that Throbbing Gristle, although they put music out to you and they put out some of their thoughts and stuff, they don't really mean it, or what I should say is they're more or less trying to put it out just for your mind to think about. And we'll read this. People misunderstand. They think that if you refer to something, you're either glorifying it or agreeing with it. And that's not true, you know. Because if it was true, then every newspaper that reported a murder would be saying, we think people should commit murders. But if an individual, or a musician, or an artist, or a writer refers to it, they're immediately attacked like they were, and like we were. And we're told we're approving of child murder or rape. How come that in reality it's only the preserve of people in the control of the mass media? That we agree with, which is not necessarily true. What we say is, this is a very interesting case, and if only we all studied it very hard, maybe we'd all find out something about ourselves and why it happened. They don't really want to, you see, because American society would have to completely turn around and alter itself, and they'd have to start being responsible for their activities. Most in the middle class are totally brain damaged, you know. They're just deadheads. So, as Genesis would say, maybe really what we all need is a little discipline. And here's discipline.
Discipline, the big one. In a word or two words, rather, humanity and demonstration. Can you make it? Throbbing Gristle, their final records. The mission is terminated. Their passion was reality. Their politicizing was defined in the most elemental sense. Their humor, a decayed and seedy transgression. The music's mood, a savage farce, carrying the merciless clarity of conflict. This 12-inch is the most controlled and concentrated representation of Throbbing Gristle's predatory, bared, activating imitation of irrationality and absurdity. The A-side is a digital recording of Discipline performed in Berlin. The B-side is a binaural recording of Discipline performed in Manchester. The piece deals with unconscious boredom. It's the ultimate, specific Throbbing Gristle call. Their intensity and insanity comes down to this. Put your own house in order. Climb the fence. What is correct living? What is dignity? What are the fundamental changes necessary? Throbbing Gristle are about awakening, to be aware of our condition and our conditioning. Discipline embraces the basic problems of control and interference, moral ruin, and incessable tension as compulsively as Cabaret Voltaire on Voice of America. Its absence of trick or treat is explicit, acid, and brittle, an open conflict between surface and depth sensibilities. Genesis P. Orridge plays the trapped lunatic whose rant is an imperfect assault on stability and slavery. Put your own house in order. Throbbing Gristle played their last concerts in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Those seeing the act from a place away from rock lusted after the designs and decisions, appreciated the instinctive drive. Captain Beefheart said they'd go far, far enough. Critics deemed that their value to future developments would be as contextually important as the Velvet Underground. Fair enough. One day, Throbbing Gristle's music will sound rich and sweet. For now, everything you feel about Throbbing Gristle, septic, morbid, incomprehensible, gimmicky, think the opposite and wake up.
Nice.
You are listening to Vancouver Cooperative Radio, 102.7 FM. The show is called Alien Soundtracks, and the special tonight, if you haven't guessed by now, a group called Throbbing Gristle. We'd like to thank all the people who called in during the last set in particular. One of our favorite listeners is a guy who came through during the marathon and pledged a lot of money, and we love him a lot. His name is Paul Sandich, and he listens from Cumberland on Vancouver Island. If you have friends in the interior, for example, we are available. We are being heard on cable throughout British Columbia, so we do have quite a wide audience, and we get quite a lot of cards and letters from all over the place, and we thank you all for them. And Paul liked it, and specifically phoned in to find out about some of the tapes and where they are available. Another call goes out to all of you. If you are interested, give us a call at 684-8494. And Alien Soundtracks and some more of Throbbing Gristle and the Chris Carter solo tape, which sounds very fluid, which is another side of Throbbing Gristle, being the Chris Carter solo music compositions, should appeal to people of more fluid type electronic music. But more about that after this message from Co-op Radio. But enough talk. We're ready for some more Throbbing Gristle, and I think we've got the Chris Carter tape queued up. You want to tell us a little bit about Chris Carter, Alex?
Yeah, Chris Carter tape. It's one of the tapes that Industrial Records, the record company behind Throbbing Gristle, put out. And it's a 90-minute cassette of just his music. And Chris is sort of the controlling force behind Throbbing Gristle. His tape is beautifully melodic in that the sounds flow back and forth. And he's pretty well responsible for most of the rhythms. And in the live shows, a lot of his rhythms are pre-recorded. And Peter Christopherson, or better known as Sleazy, he controls the tapes. And Chris Carter's in the background, and he does a lot of the echoing of Genesis' voice and stuff like that. So he is a very big member of the music of Throbbing Gristle. So here's his tape, two cuts from his tape.
On Alien Soundtracks, Chris Carter of Throbbing Gristle, and give us a call at 684-8494. Enjoy. But for why? But for what? Throbbing Gristle on Alien Soundtracks. More specifically, a little track from the Chris Carter tape, which is also available on Industrial Records, if you're interested. If you want to give us a call at 684-8494, Alex Douglas can clue you in with what's happening about particularly the tapes. I haven't seen the tapes. I've seen all the records, or most of the records, sporadically. Some of them have been available, some of them have not. It all depends on when the particular store does their import order, of course. But everybody is getting into cassettes now, and maybe you should go around to these stores and tell them, Alex, where these tapes can be ordered so the general populace can pick them up in the stores, you know?
Well, I don't think you'll ever be able to pick up the tapes. I wouldn't say they were limited production, but the thing is Industrial Records is pretty well closed down. Throbbing Gristle, I'm going to say they've split up because that's what they've done right now. Genesis, Piorgi, and Sleazy have gone on to video. But I got a letter from Kazi Fanny Tootie just the other week there.
From her personally?
Yes.
I envy you.
Signed. And her and Chris Carter say they're going to put out a new record on Rough Trade. So that's not the end of Chris Carter's music, and I'm sure you'll hear a lot from them. And in reading some of the interviews of Genesis Piorgi, he says that they may come back. They may come back under a different name, etc. But they've done what they wanted to do, and I think they felt they were becoming too popular. People were listening to their music because it was the thing to do, and that's not what Throbbing Gristle wanted.
That's generally not too bad. Of course, it's the band's decision. You obviously will never get as popular as, in broad terms, as ABBA was or anything. I mean, nobody would ask that. But a thought went through my mind. If you said that Chris Carter and Cozy are going to do something together on record, that could be an interesting combination.
It could.
Again, probably totally different from the general gist of what Throbbing Gristle has done.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot like his tape. I think it'll be a lot, I can't use the word nicer music, more accessible maybe, but I think it will still have a very imaginative music to it. On the DOA album, Third Annual Report, each artist got to do their own little cut by themselves, and the one by Kazi Fanny Tootie was very interesting. It was taped back and forth, sort of like a spliced up tape of cutting of certain sounds, etc. And so,
It's also interesting to hear they're going into video.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a video explosion right now, and it'd be very interesting to see whether they are submitting some videos for international video festivals and things like that.
Well, they actually have 2 videos of Throbbing Gristle playing live.
During concert? They
During
use it in
concert.
San Francisco?
They used it in San Francisco, but I haven't heard if they're ever offering that. But they have a video of the Heathen Earth concert that they played live for the record. They have a video of that. They have a video of their Manchester concert, which was done about 1979, which you can get on Betamax, etc. Although, again, because Industrial Records have folded, I doubt if you're going to be able to pick that up from Industrial Records.
I would also caution anybody who's interested in getting videos by Throbbing Gristle or anybody else from England not to do that until they are sure it's on the system that's compatible over here. They are on the PAL system in Europe, which is actually a nicer system. I wish we had it over here. It's one of the most clearest television pictures I've ever seen. But most videos, all videos over there are recorded on the PAL system, and it just wouldn't work over here, and you'd waste your money. So before sending away, see if they can be converted or whether they have them in both formats. So
I believe they don't have them in the U.S. format as of now, but they do exist, and maybe some year they will become popular.
all right, what else is up? We've still got, 25 minutes of Throbbing Gristle on Alien Soundtracks.
Well, okay, well, we've been playing a lot of the records. I thought I'd play more of the live tapes. And this is actually one of my most favorite cuts. I enjoy the more sort of rhythmic sound of Throbbing Gristle. And this one's called Sawmill, and it's just great for putting on your headphones when you sort of want to get up and dance and sort of beat to the music. So here's Sawmill from their live cassette IC21.
So you dance to this kind of stuff, hey, Alex?
It gets the feet moving. It gets the feet moving.
I've never heard this kind of stuff in discos. I can tell you that. You are tuned in to Vancouver Cooperative Radio, 102.7 FM, 104.9 on your dial. And the show is called Alien Soundtracks. My name is Peter Moser. Our show is on the first two Saturdays of every month, and we have done that for the last 4 years, and we can hope to continue to bring you innovative and different type of music that I am afraid you might not hear anywhere else. There are some other good shows happening, CBC Neon Nights, for example, and as far as electronic new wave and general British things are happening, of course, your university station CITR, some very nice programs on that as well. Co-op Radio in itself has probably one of the most varied type of programming that I've ever seen. Everything from what we do here on Alien Soundtracks to real country and Western music and folk music, of course, classic, international. Anything you want, you'll most likely find it on Co-op Radio. If you want to write to us, you can write us your cards and letters of support at 337 Carroll Street at Vancouver. Cooperative Radio, 337 Carroll Street. Or give us a call at 684-8494. I almost forgot my own phone number. Thanks a lot. We're nearing the hour of 9 o'clock where Alien Soundtracks has to make way for Caribbean music. And at this point, I would like to thank my special guest, Alex Douglas. You put a nice program together. I enjoyed it immensely, and I hope our listeners have as well, and I'm sure they have. And I also like to thank our two engineers and sometimes co-hosts extraordinaire, Tim Keenleyside. He's flitzing around back there, getting the reel-to-reel tape together because we're sending one to Throbbing Gristle. And the man who held it all together behind the controls, Chris Gibbons. Thank you very much. And he's a new member of Alien Soundtracks, and I hope he will stay with us for a long time to come. Thanks a lot. And, Alex, you've got something else. A closing statement about Throbbing Gristle and some more music.
Yeah, this is the last tape we're going to play is another live tape. It's actually one of the earlier tapes. The cut off here is called Chariot and Galley. And listen right to the end because it's really quite good. It's got quite a nice ending on it. But I would like to give the information, some of the phone calls, ask for it, give my address for my contact list of electronic music. Because it's got a lot of information about Throbbing Gristle and about other types of electronic music. So if you're interested in it, just write to me at P.O. Box 86010, North Vancouver, British Columbia, B7L4J5, and I'll send you the contact list. And actually, I've got issue number 2, which I keep promising I'll finish, and hopefully within the month I'll get it all done and have all the new information.
You're a busy man, Alex, and you're very interested in electronic music, and you're a driving force, and you've gone far. And we appreciate what you do on Alien Soundtracks and your work. And thanks a lot.
Yeah, as I say, I appreciate Alien Soundtracks. I feel it is a driving force in Vancouver behind this music. So,
hey, all right.
Without any further ado, we'll blast you away from your speakers one last time with Chariot in the Galilee.
On Alien Soundtracks. Good night, and thanks for listening. Stay cool. And
You are feeling so good. 2. Your entire body feels relaxed and wonderful. 3. You have enjoyed this experience of relaxation, and you're feeling energetic. 4. You're about to open your eyes now, feeling refreshed. And 5. Open your eyes now. Take a deep breath, feeling very good and alert.